So today we'll be talking about the underrepresentation of African American youth in competitive swimming. With our background information, we'll be talking. With the people that we'll be talking will be me and Kelvin. For the facts, it would be CJ and E. And for our recommendation at the bottom, Dylan would take over. But I'm gonna introduce myself first. I'm Tim K. Glass.
I'm Dylan Ottenreith.
I'm Kelvin Harmon.
CJ Riley.
Andreas Bryant.
And we will now start our presentation with the background.
After desegregation, whites were not happy and therefore they went to private pools. So even after the law of bringing all of us together, the whites still wanted to have their own place legally. In 1960, they began building swimming pools in predominantly black communities, but they were only 1 meter deep, so not as great as the white pools. The first time competitive swimming was introduced to the world was in the 1896 Olympics in Athens. The first African American on the U.S. national swimming team was in 1982. So nearly 100 years from the first time swimming was introduced to the first time an African American was on the U.S. national team. Colin Jones is the first African American in the history of the World University Games to place first and receive a gold medal in 2005.
Yeah.
Colin Jones Diversity Invitational Brain multi-ethnic swim meets and educate water safety rights.
So I'm gonna talk to you all about the Josh Project and the first African American female swimmer. So the Josh Project was created for a lady named Wanda Butts, whose her son got killed in the pool. I guess he drowned in Toledo. So they started up a project in Toledo, Ohio, about having cheap swimming lessons, so people can learn about how to swim, so stuff like this won't occur in the United States. The first African American female swimmer to win a gold medal was Simone Manuel in 2016 in the Rio Games.
So for the facts, according to the USA Swimming Foundation, 70% of African Americans can't swim, and children at the ages of 15 to 14 are 3 times more likely to drown than their white peers, which means either they didn't have the money maybe to get into programs to learn how to swim, or they just wasn't highly influenced, or just African Americans children can make up 1% of the USA Swimming memberships in competitive swimming. 3 out of the 45 swimmers in 2016 Rio Olympic team were black, which means, it's just a wider disparity of more whites than blacks, which shows the difference.
African Americans make up roughly 2% of Division I swimmers at all Division I schools in the country, which is over 100. But they only make up 2%. It's crazy. Howard would be the only HBCU with a swim team. Yet again, another interesting fact. How many HBCUs do we have in this country?
That's a lot.
And only one school will have a swim team.
Yeah.
13% chance of children learning how to swim that their parents don't know. 65% of African American children would like to swim more than they do.
So for the recommendations, we tried to come up with our own stuff for the majority of them. But one thing that we saw and we were interested in is what we found what Lloyd said, and she said that one thing that can happen is to make it a requirement in high schools for students to show that they understand how to properly swim and that they're safe on doing it on their own. And then if they can do that, then they can get their high school diploma. And so we think that that is one thing that could really help turn this problem around. And then we said that once a year, once 1 month out of a year, we could have free swimming lessons at local YMCA or Boys and Girls Clubs. And then that can just bring in people from all sorts of social, economic classes in, and they can learn how to swim. And then we think that people like Colin Jones need to keep on being vocal. I mean, like what he's doing with the Jones Diversity Invitational, just keep doing things like that, and then it could just show kids that anybody can really do this. And if more people like Wanda Butts spoke out and made sure that other people didn't have to go through what she had to go through, then that might bring more interest in the sport of swimming. And then we also said that having a summer program for kids and include swimming lessons. So, like whenever you drop your kids off and you go out and you go do your work and stuff, instead of just playing daycare in the gym, you could also teach them how to swim.
Yeah, I mean that's very important. Like especially the Wanda Butts case, because nobody would want to see that kid die. You know what I'm saying? Like a 2-3-year-old may drown or something. That's why they trying to teach them early how to swim, so you can prevent issues like that, because that's a serious problem.
And going off of what Kelvin said, in 1960 when they began building the swimming pools in predominantly black areas, that was a problem because if they were only 1 meter deep, then they weren't having to swim. They could just stand around in the water and sit in the water, and they didn't actually swim. So that also caused problems.
And from a personal standpoint, I believe that making a requirement in high school to swim would be the best one, because usually kids in the poor community can't afford swimming lessons.
Yeah.
And swimming is a very high-paid sport, kind of like golf. So that's mainly why a lot of blacks don't do it.
Well, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy.
Thank you.